Hey there, welcome back to Move with Joe. In this week's video, we have a short video discussing the carriage of the head and how that affects two important things. One, the tone of the musculature in the body, and two, the quality of the movement that you produce. So we're going to just run through an example or two of how our organization affects our quality of movement and the tone, and then we'll give some strategies in terms of what you can do to help improve that. So the first thing I want you to do is just standing or sitting, whatever you prefer, begin to just turn to look over one shoulder and notice the quality of the movement. Turn to look over the other shoulder, notice the quality of the movement. And you can go back and forth a few times. And particularly you want to do this way slower than you normally do. So the slower you go, the easier it is to start to discern some differences in terms of maybe on one side your head tracks down a little bit. Maybe the other side you tend to extend as you look over your shoulder. You can notice how your eyes track, if maybe your eyes track more smoothly to one side. Maybe they skip across space going to the opposite side. And then what I want you to do for a little compare and contrast is go ahead and you're going to round your head forward. Many people, particularly office workers and people that are sitting at desks, or if you're texting a lot throughout the day, your head tends to begin to roll forward of the rest of your base of support. And so when you do that, can you begin to notice a change in the tone of the musculature? So as I begin to roll forward, the muscles are having to respond to keep me upright in gravity, right? If I were to just keep rolling forward with no musculature, I would just fall over. But our nervous system is wired to keep us oriented in gravity, to keep us upright. So as soon as I begin to come forward, you may notice within yourself, as you're doing this, some of the muscles in the back of the neck, and all the way down into the lumbar spine here begin to engage. You may even notice your hamstrings starting to take on some more tone. For me, I also notice all the way down into my feet as I lean farther forward, my toes start gripping the floor. And so this is what we mean when I say the carriage of the head affects the tone of the musculature. And you can think about the head as this bowling ball, right? And the bowling ball is sitting on this long lever called your spine. And so the less organized you are, the more weight is out at the end of the lever, and it's creating more tonicity, more tone in the body to keep you balanced. So it's a pretty simple concept, but it's something that most people don't think about. So secondly, if you begin to round your head forward, and then you begin to turn to look over your shoulder again, you will probably notice that your head does not rotate nearly as far. Again, what's happening is instead of having that perfect alignment, I shouldn't say perfect alignment, but having a better organization through the spine, it allows you to find better rotation through the whole of yourself. So if I think about how I organize myself in sitting or standing, what I want to think about is what is the relationship of that bowling ball at the top of the spine. If it's forward like this, I'm not going to be able to rotate. And in fact, as I flex forward, it's going to create some compression and might actually create some more strain as I turn to look over my shoulder. It's incongruent. My thoracic spine is trying to round forward, and then I'm running into myself as I'm trying to rotate and look over my shoulder. Whereas if I had a better sense of organization where from the tailbone up through the crown of my head, I had more organized alignment through the spine, having a central axis to rotate from, I can begin to find more vertebra to begin to find that rotation. And so ideally, one of the main principles of this work is how you distribute tone through the whole of yourself and how you distribute movement through the whole of yourself. And so often I have clients that come in and they complain of neck discomfort, neck pain, and they're really getting cut off from their movement as if they don't have anything that moves below their clavicles. So as they turn to look over their shoulder, they're only moving from the first 7 vertebrae, and there's 24 vertebrae in the spine. So if you begin to think, how can I organize myself as I'm starting to look over my shoulder, where I'm beginning to turn my pelvis and having this sense of the spiraling coming up and through your neck into your very top of your spine, all of a sudden, 1, the movement gets smoother, 2, the quality improves, and 3, you can begin to look farther. Now, one last piece to add into this, and again, thinking about how you can move through the whole of yourself. If I want to turn to the right, I can initiate that movement by beginning to lift my left heel. So I begin to lengthen through my left heel, and again, it's having a sense of coming to the highest point through your spine to turn and look around. And now I'm clearly at 180 degrees, and I can continue to look almost directly out to my left initially. So play around with this sense of lengthening, getting taller, getting more centrally organized through that axis point of the spine. And you can turn to the left, lifting the right heel. So try this several times, back and forth. Notice the ease in the movement. And then come back to comparing and contrasting that to just turning with everything else isolated and turning from your neck. And you'll notice there's a lot more tone in the neck, and it's probably not nearly as comfortable. So those are a couple quick tips in terms of how to find better organization, how to move more through the whole of your body, not even just thinking about the spine, but thinking about how your legs are involved with rotation. And ultimately, how to find better support through the skeleton so that the muscles don't have to work so hard. If you're interested in learning more about how to find better organization support from your body, check out the link below to my website. So I hope that was a useful lesson. Please hit the like and subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and we'll catch you next week.